Wow, that's it. That is the deal. Yeah. All right. So, last time I did this, there were some issues due to global climate manipulation, as they're calling it. Um, I think that's what they call it, right? Global climate manipulation. GCM, the hot topic of our day, right? But anyway, due to global climate manipulation, it's hard to say really fast. Quickly. Look at that beautiful shadow. A lot of what I was saying was glitched out. There's like little glitches in time. For instance, I'm looking at this cloudless sky, which is obviously manipulated. Obviously. And the clouds, actually, to blame the clouds for or the lack thereof, for affecting my ability to stream the data transfer, it's kind of funny. Just saying. I think it's more likely that the 360-degree existence of power cables and their energy field might actually affect data slightly more. It's beyond evidential. It's factual. So, I need to discuss. I know I said I'd be back tomorrow. That's obviously not going to happen. Every time I say tomorrow just means the next time in general. I need to discuss, there was countless comments on the video, right? I can't even count the number of comments on my last video. Can't count them. I don't think in numbers like that. That low specifically. But the countless number of comments that I received helped me understand that there was a couple of things I need to address. One of those is based on the topic that I was speaking on. I was made aware that I could be perceived as minimizing legitimate issues in our nation. I could be accused of making light of extremely important and valid issues. And I know what you're thinking. As always, I always know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're like, yeah, blonde privilege is nowhere near as important as, for instance, let's just go there. Let's just say gender inequality. That's one that people can say, right? Except there's other ones, right? They could say this racial inequality. However, there's one that you're not quickly aware of that could even be higher on the totem pole of importance. That's inequality. There are some things that are more unequal than other unequal things. Yeah. I'm not going to discuss that right now. I'll have to further develop that concept. I want to be very concise, because if I just ramble about inequality for 30 minutes, I don't think that'll work. Not yet. I gotta warm you up to the idea, because it's deep. Some people would say it's a conspiracy theory, which is a conspiracy theory. The fact that conspiracy theories are conspiracy theories, there's a conspiracy theory about the conspiracy theory itself. True. Not joking at all. There is an actual conspiracy theory that conspiracy theories are conspiracy theories in the first place. Yeah. I know it's a mind twister, but that's real. It's a real thing. All right, so one of my ideas for this was to discuss how folks identify as things. So, for instance, one of these interesting issues was there used to be this television show, American Worship. Is this music show. It's about competing for your musical talent, which has obviously been disproven as a thing. That one person is a better singer than the next. That's obvious inequality and judgmentalism, all this stuff. That show used to exist, though. It was called American Worship, and they would find out who they worshipped more than the next person just based on their musical talent, which is just kind of disgusting if you think about it. Like, who are we going to worship? I don't know. Why would you worship just a person based on their proposed singing ability, based on 3 people on standing or sitting in front of this person? Who are they to say? I mean, that's really the most important thing. That's why they canceled the show, American Worship, is because who are they to say what is good singing? You know, literally the most important aspect of singing is what it makes you feel like, right? So when somebody's singing and they're making sound out of their mouth, you can say whatever you want, but the most important thing is what they think about the noise that comes out of their mouth. And you're gonna be like, I know there's people out there right now, when they hear this, they're like, yeah, but there's such a thing as notes. There's, that's what music is. Who are you to say what music is? I mean, who are you to say what music is? Who are you to say what quality is? Who are you to say what's beautiful? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why anybody thinks that they're an authority on this. So you have a piano, and everybody has an equal opportunity to use the piano and all of the notes that exist on the piano in a manner in which they find pleasant or enjoyable. Some people historically have used bricks to hit the keys. While that isn't the best for the life of the piano, because it damages, it causes physical damage to the keys, that's fine. Obviously, if that's what they enjoy, obviously it's music. If that's what they call it, it's up to them. So yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, fine, I'll go there, but what about the issue of whether or not anybody would ever want to listen? Oh, so now you're a bigot, racist, homophobe. Well, now you're like, wait, whoa, that escalated quickly, but really, it's all part of the same thing. Once you're a bigot, you're also instantly a racist, obviously. And once you're a racist, you're obviously a homophobe, because birds of a feather flock together. Isn't that what they say? So they're all connected. They're all connected. Moving back to the piano and music, and well, the fact of the matter is, if the person making the noise calls it beautiful music, and you say you want music, which we all want music, then you are obligated, and it's your moral duty to accept it as music because they said it was music. Anything apart from that is hate. It's hatred. And I also know that there's people out there right now that would be like, if that's hate, then fine, sign me up. Or maybe it's not hate to have an opinion. Yeah! What? Obviously it's hate to have an opinion. Obviously. Opinions are some of the most hateful things that exist in man, in human. When I say man, I'm including all of music in that. It's obvious, but so somebody says their music's beautiful. It's your duty, it's your responsibility to say, yes, beautiful. If somebody says that their music is ugly, first of all, I don't know why they would say that. Sounds like trickery, reverse psychology or something. For the most part, we want to say that nothing is ugly. All things are beautiful, because they're unique. Unique is becoming an interesting concept. When there's 7.5 billion people on the planet, you start to wonder what unique means. Yeah, unique really scares me. I'm not sure that that's an acceptable word for a vocabulary. Gotta think about that one. It's a scary word. More importantly, things, like I said, things are what they are, as long as they are. It is what it is, exceptly. We'll add that one. We'll add that one to the dictionary. Let's remove unique and add acceptly. I'm pretty sure that's a good one. That's a keeper. At least as long as I say it's a keeper. Right? Isn't that how that works? Sorry, I just got completely distracted because somebody's throwing off a huge poster. I don't know. People up in high places and stuff. Music's beautiful. Always. Always. And that's the cool thing about it, is that means, ever since they kind of gained their movement, gained acceptance of the movement, and the show is canceled, it allows for so many more people to enjoy something that they were previously oppressed, held back from enjoying. You've got all these people that are being told by the general masses that they're ugly, that they're not beautiful, that they have no skill. All hate speech. There's this whole discussion that used to exist about some people were born to make beautiful music. That's just something obviously is wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. And then, you could, hypothetically, you could learn to do beautiful music. But, I don't know. That's just, something about that just seems off. But thankfully, we're we're living in a time where the progressives of the past are helping us live more fruitful lives, helping us to accomplish things that we never thought were possible. It's a beautiful thing. So a couple of people mentioned my use of and when I say a couple of people, this is predictive. I am literally replying to comments that have yet to be posted to the video, because I can see into the future as well. Pretty special like that. Except I'm not special, because we're removing the idea of specialness, because that's dirty. Take back everything I just said. Ignore contradictions. Yeah, throughout my videos, I recommend you ignore any potential contradictions. I'll just go out on a limb and say contradictions are not real. It's about your perception, right? And your perception just needs to change. I'll just go there. I'll say that. So I had mentioned about how history didn't matter. A couple of you had said, first you said that history didn't matter, and then you went on to talk about historical figures and so on. Both are true. On one hand, it depends on what you mean by history, right? It depends what you mean by history. So, and I'm not even gonna give you the different examples of what history could mean, because it means it depends on your perspective. So, there. That's it. I'll leave it at that, because I think that that's sufficient. So, perspective. Yeah. So history. Yeah, we're going to talk about history. When it's not relevant, I'm going to completely dismiss history as a thing, or as an important factor. When history supports what I'm talking about, I'm going to use it. When it doesn't support what I'm talking about, I'm not going to use it. That just makes logical sense. So, in regards to supporting an argument, I would love to discuss that at some point too. That's one of my plans. I want to teach you guys the best methods for I want to teach you the best methods for arguing, for debate, because I think it's a lost art. I think it's something that people just don't know how to do anymore. People used to use, like, historically, this is valid, people used to use facts, statistics, they used to use logic. I know it's funny, but they used to use logic in arguing a point. But once we learned and realized that logic is merely just the creative opinion of an individual, we realized that logic could never be used to win an argument, because it's all your opinion. The fact that somebody could disagree with another person has everything to do with their bigotry, like, and nothing to do with facts. Because we all know that facts are subjective. They just are. How else is one person, as I can hear you now, I really can actually literally hear you now. Like, that's the opposite. That's the opposite of what a fact is. Facts are actually objective. No. You've got it the other way around. Opinions are objective because they don't change. Nobody ever changes their opinion. That's what makes it objective, is the fact that it's more stable. Facts, they change all the time. This guy over here says, this statistic. This guy over here says this statistic. They call them facts. That's why we know that they're subjective. So it's really important to understand what is true, and that is the main reason why that version of or aspect, more appropriately, of history is really not helpful for the sake of making an argument and defending an argument. History is not going to help you because it involves facts, and because facts change all of the time, just do this experiment. Pick a topic. Just flip a coin, pick a topic, and grab. You can use the internet for this. You can use books. I recommend doing both. And grab like a 1910 encyclopedia. Try to find some extra, like, old historical reference, and then find like one in the 1960s, and then find like a modern, this day and age reference. And I want you to compare each and every fact, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's no such thing as objective facts. It could not possibly exist. And because that's my opinion, I know it's true. I feel that couldn't possibly be wrong. And because of my strong conviction of my opinion, that's going to be true forever. And here, let me further point this out. This is really cool, actually. This just occurred to me. This video will exist somewhere, somehow. It's lit. Okay. So I'm recording this from a vehicle. I'm going to prove my point here. Data is literally floating through the air. It's going somewhere. It's being received by the cell towers, right? But it's also like going out in all directions. It's not just like this perfect road, okay? So, which is more true? A book that changes, literally, like an encyclopedia topic that changes over the decades and the centuries, the information changes, or these waves that are going into eternity unchanged. The words I'm saying right now will never change, ever. They exist for eternity. Unless the entire universe explodes and all matter and photons and waves of all kinds, yeah, I meant to pluralize that, they would have to all be disrupted, destroyed, and then, yeah, but then it wouldn't matter, obviously. So all I'm trying to say is my opinions are obviously more permanent, and due to their permanence in existing for eternity, that will obviously make them more true than a book that can be burned. And that's why brilliant authors have written books about burning books, because of probably the most important subject of all that we could talk about is, and I will address this again and again. We will be discussing this concept. So important, and that is self-hatred. Such an important, valuable thing in our life. We have to hold on to self-hatred. Have to. It's so important. I'll explain why in greater detail. Maybe that's what I'll discuss tomorrow. I don't have quite enough time. I mean, I could just unpack that for years. Just to shore up what I was referring to earlier. Yeah. The reason that we know that books and information and facts are subjective is that they are able to be changed. The fact that almost got me. Ha! All right. Wow. We really need to fix language, guys. We need to fix language. Still working on it, aren't we? We'll get there. We'll get there one of these days. The realization that that opinion is eternal, that's what makes it objective. And you can rely on it. I mean, right? You can rely on something that's eternal. It'll always be there for you. What's more, that's like the definition of reliability. Think about it. If anybody has any reason to say I'm wrong, you can share your opinion of why I'm wrong. I invite that. And just to be logically consistent, even though I don't believe in logic, I still like to use that word. To be logically consistent, I will validate the fact. Ha! See, I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not. I will validate that your opinion is also true. Okay? That's unusual. It's a really big vehicle. It's a massive vehicle. You might have seen it passing by. Crime scene investigation. It's fascinating. Alrighty. Well, what was I saying I was going to talk about tomorrow? Self-hatred. Yeah, self-hatred. Must hold on to self-hatred, for its value in our life is invaluable, unable to be determined. So I will be discussing how unable we are to determine the value of self-hatred. All opinion, just sharing my opinions, which is what's most important. Yeah. You should, if you're confused about any of the points that I'm trying to make here, just go back, watch them again. You'll get it eventually. You will understand what's going on here. At some point in time, you'll get it. Let's see, what's another good topic? We should talk about. Yeah, I hear you on that. So the flat Earth and the global Earth. So why are those opinions both true? So the one thing about that is it depends on what you mean by flat. Depends on what you mean by flat. It also depends on what you mean by globe. Depends on what you mean. So I could leave it at that, which is probably sufficient. But I won't. We'll talk about that. I know it's a controversial issue. Because a lot of people are sharing their opinions about flatness versus globe roundness. Their opinions are all exactly what they are. They're objective statements, and eternal, which is to be. I should remind you that due to the eternal nature of these statements, if the earth is indeed round, the earth is in fact flat, while I go over a rounded bridge. So I'm going to say that it's my opinion that if the world is round and globular, then you could never dig through to the other side, just based on their perspective and their opinions, because the center is like would melt you and stuff, and it's due to gravity. There's just like all these different ways. So could you dig a tunnel though through the crust, down and then around and then back down like through the other side? That'd be so far. It'd be like, I don't know, probably like 10,000 miles, 15,000 miles, something like, I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood. Somebody will correct my math. They'll be like, all you gotta do is math. As if people do math anymore. I love math because it's all based on opinions. Because it's really just a matter of opinion that 1 + 1 = 2. There's no way to prove that, because I personally know people that believe that 1 + 1 is not 2. So they can, I'm going to say they can both be right at the same time, because math is just an opinion, and that's what makes it objective. When they start saying that math is a fact, what are you going to do with that? I don't know. It's not good. But yeah, I'll talk about the flat and round Earth. They're both opinions. So they're both eternal opinions. So we gotta find a way to reconcile that. Got to. This is really just a follow-up. Okay, obviously there's no distinct topic this time. We'll get there. I just wanted to clear up some of the issues from the last video, because it's touchy, right? We don't want to offend, and for some reason some people get offended when other people's opinion, they think that there's a conflict. See, that's what you have to do though. You have to get woke enough truly to realize that everybody's opinion matters. Everybody's opinion matters. Once you realize that everybody's opinion matters, that some opinions are not the same as other opinions, but they're all eternal. Yeah, just keep on sharing your opinions, guys. What else do we have if we don't have opinions? What else do we have? I don't know. I can't think of very many things that are more permanent. You heard my description and explanation of why an opinion is eternal. Hey, just think about it. It's good stuff. Y'all have fun with life. I'll see y'all soon, probably tomorrow, of some kind. It's my opinion.